This is a review of Survivor Season 48, Episode 7, Survivor Smack Talk. We have a full recap, review of the episode. With me, as always, is Richie Becerra. Richie, how are you feeling today? Coming off of Survivor, coming off of White Lotus, coming off of the Masters.
Man,
I mean,
big weekend.
this was a lot. How are you feeling?
Yeah, so much stuff. I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I love these double tribal episodes.
Yeah.
I think I mean, I know a lot of people don't like them. I really do. I think it's I mean, they're just so unpredictable because
Yeah.
you never know what groups are going to be together, how the dynamics are going to play out. I think it's always a big time to make a big move, and I don't necessarily think we got a lot of that, but we'll break that down eventually.
Yeah, 100%. It was, and I don't think when we picked who we thought was going home next week, I don't think we put together that it was a double exit. But
Hmm.
I do have to, do housekeeping right up front. You did pick Say to go home last time we gathered. Another wrinkle is when we did our preseason predictions. I picked Say to win it all. You picked Cedrek to win it all. Actually,
Yeah.
I wanted to pick Cedrek, and you took him from me. And I mean, Cedrek makes the jury. Say goes home. We're actually going to re-pick winners for this final 10. I think there's a good crop. I think maybe at least
Oh yeah.
6 or 7, has a clear path to win. I think a couple
Hmm.
of people are pretty far behind. We're gonna pick our winners going forward. We're also gonna rename the episode. We're gonna do a Survivor press conference where we ask, if we could, we're gonna ask Castaway or Jeff a question, and talk about which Survivor stock is up, which Survivor stock is down. Yeah, it's interesting this episode to get into it. I feel like a lot of people were bagging on it. I do think we came from 2 really great episodes with the Joe and
Hmm.
Eva moment, and then even just the Mergatory last week. That this one, I mean, really, it was just one challenge, and then just a lot of social gameplay. And yeah, like you said, there was maybe opportunities to make big moves, but it seems more the straightforward people went home. But to get
Yeah.
into it, we kind of see at the beach at this big merged tribe with 12 people. Mitch is pretty down on, and he's down a lot in this episode, which is hard for me to see. But with Charity going home, Mitch's closest ally, Mitch not really getting on the correct side of votes, him then now having come back, and like apologize to Say, and it does feel like people rally around him. That's when Say says she's a cat with 9 lives. Everyone's obsessed with her. Cedrek
Hmm.
wondering who wrote down Cedric's name, and Say revealing it was her, getting her lick back and writing in cursive. I mean, I guess it's kind of funny, like that they both went home together. They're like, I mean, I guess Cedrek got to stick around. Say, it sounds like, had to get on the plane with Justin and with everyone else who was voted out early. But yeah, we see that like Shaheen's kind of in the middle of everyone here, but he's also a piece because he is in the mix and he's with
Hmm.
everyone else. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot of chaos, but not a whole lot happening. Just kind of setting up maybe Mitch, maybe Shaheen being other players here. We get to the immunity challenge where, yeah, they get split up into groups of 6. And do you like this? Is this a good way to go from 12 to 10?
I do, yeah. I mean, I think it just adds another wrinkle, and you really have to make sure that you're on top of your game and
Yeah.
you have tight alliances with whoever you can try to make them with. And I mean, because again, like I said earlier, you don't know where you're going to be.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that your bases are covered on all sides for something like this.
Yeah. And 6, yeah, usually would open up, yeah, opportunities for people to make moves or yeah, people
Hmm.
like I think it was Rachel last season who she got stuck on a tribe where it was like, oh, dude, she's on the bottom, she's in trouble, but then she got to leave camp, and it was like, oh wow, well those 3 had to make a move and vote against each other. That doesn't quite pay off here, but we do see strengthened alliances come from this.
Hmm.
What do you think about the idea of making the merge but not making the jury? That doesn't really make sense to me. But that's new era, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we've just done it for so long, I'm kind of used to it now.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm 100% sold on it. I think it works out in some cases. It does honestly suck for
yeah,
that person, and I think they probably would agree that it's not a good idea.
yeah. Well, we get 2 groups of 6. The rules are 2 immunity necklaces, and then the winning the winning six will get PB&J and chips and a lot of good stuff. Grip challenge. How do you feel about a grip challenge? Do you think you would hold up well? Honestly, I don't think they're that fun to watch, but do you think yourself, like, especially there's some dogs in this one. We
Oh
break
yeah.
records in here. Cedric out right away, pretty hilarious. That's like I would love to see a supercut
Oh
of
my
all the
gosh.
people who get out within the first 10 seconds
Yeah.
of a because those are always just like dang it. But it's just they what 20% of
I
their original body weight too. Um,
yeah, 25 I think.
I saw Chrissy went down, which Chrissy is a firefighter with bad grip strength. That's alarming to me. Um, but yeah, it was like Kyle versus David, then it was Eva versus Joe, and this is when they start talking about smack talk. But no, do you think you'd be good at grip challenges? I mean,
I think I would be pretty decent, honestly. I mean, I use my hands a lot for work every day. I think my grip strength is probably above average. I don't know if it's elite, but I
oh
mean,
shoot,
the way David was
forgot to do
playing
this
that
too.
challenge, I don't know if anyone's beating David in that. I mean, bro was just holding it out with one arm. It
Cheers.
didn't even look like he was.
This is for
There we
say.
go. Didn't even look like he was tired.
This is for say. By the way, sorry.
Oh yeah, there we go. You
Oh,
got a new alcohol on deck too.
oh,
Good for you.
Jägermeister for say.
Oh,
Wow, on a Sunday night. Um, no, yeah, I don't know how I'd be either. Um, like especially when they're cranking it. I mean, that's when you get a lot of the
hmm
forearm and whatnot too. I'm sure their like hands and forearms are burning after. And yeah, dude, it was crazy how smooth David was up there, leaning back, like fully talking trash on Joe. When Joe like
hmm
was clearly more of the one struggling here. And yeah, they do the little body by Jeff. Shaheen gets in on singing. Kyle does the get off the couch, sign up for Survivor. Pretty fun moments there. Um, but yeah, Joe and David ended up winning. David outlasts Joe. Honestly, could be a good thing for Joe because David's technically the big dog right now, right? Like you don't want to
Yeah.
be the big dog, and it's good to have maybe a
hmm
bigger dog ahead of you. Um, and they both win immunity, and they will stay safe. And we kind of see these other sixes play out. Who the tribe that got the PB and J is Kyle, Camilla together, David, Shaheen, and then Cedric and Mary. So like right away when we're sitting here, like it does feel like Cedric right away. It felt like maybe they were like Kyle clearly has an idea that Shaheen is dangerous.
hmm
Um, but I don't know. It kind of did it. Do you think this is one where it's probably was clearly Cedric the whole time, but they tried to tease us a little bit, or do you think?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it had to
I
be.
mean, I think the right play for them was, I mean, they talked about it, would to be to get Shaheen out. I mean, that sets you up for to be in a very good spot.
Yeah,
I think maybe in their minds they were just thinking maybe too soon to try to make a big move. You'll get back to the full tribe, and you might not have the numbers. Not everyone might like it, so
yeah.
I get why they voted Cedric out for sure.
Yeah. And then the other six, they have to go to Siva camp, which like this felt again like they were trying to be like, oh look, they're miserable now. They're at a terrible camp. We feel that for a
hmm
second, but you felt that more with old Survivor. I'm sure they are more affected by it than we realize, but we just got to keep the storyline moving and whatnot. But say
Yeah.
Chrissy, Eva, Joe, Mitch, and Star here, and it seems like right away it's Mitch versus Say, and they're trying to decide is it the story of Mitch is dangerous or the jury management of Say is dangerous. Like they're really like we
hmm
don't want Say on the jury, which
Yeah.
probably would have been more entertaining than Cedric. If I'm being honest, I think I wish Say was the second one voted out
Yeah.
because seeing Say sit on the jury rolling
She
her
would have some good
eyes,
reactions for
oh
sure.
man. And then yeah, her at Final Tribal would have been amazing too. So I kind of get that, but I like the argument of going for Mitch for the story. Um, Ultimately, it just seems like this big dog alliance wants to stick together.
I was honestly kind of shocked that Say didn't try to get with Mitch and Chrissy and try to make a play against the other three.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, Mitch had the block of vote. They them three were kind of the underdogs that whole out of that group.
yeah.
And I mean, you tell Mitch use your block of vote, block Eva's vote. You could have voted Eva out easily.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there were ways to do it, and even like Star went quiet this episode. Like Star gets one pretty good
Hmm.
line actually, but Star went pretty quiet, and where I'm like, man, what? Who's really pulling the strings over there? Um, but I mean, it does seem like Joe could be someone who's socially he's just as aware as he is like physically. Like his strengths, I think, are
Hmm.
at even
Yeah.
spots. And then at the other side of the winning six, Shaheen becomes the shield vote to make Cedric comfortable. They don't want Cedric playing a shot in the dark. And we get that kind of scene then again too, where like, oh, it just sucks to be that shield vote. That like, oh man, that
Hmm.
this is what we're telling him, right? Yeah, that's it. And this is just becomes a big moment of trust for this. What do we call it? The Integrity Alliance. The
Yeah.
the power, the honor, the integrity alliance. Um, so interesting, and here also we get Kyle and Camilla another check-in point of like, look, there's still a lock. They only hang out. Looks like every once in a while. I really am curious how much time they actually
Hmm.
spent together, because to us it really
Yeah.
does seem like they're secret agents. They knew each other beforehand. Um, and yeah, Camilla ends up planting a seed about Shaheen being like, we were at the water well, and Shaheen wasn't. So like, there was a little bit of an idea that Shaheen could be someone to go home, and maybe it is planting the seeds for down the road. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. I've just felt like it was a little too clear that like I don't Cedric's going home in this group, and yeah, I don't know.
What did you think was the right play? Do you think they made the right decision?
No, I mean, I think if they all recognize that Shaheen and Joe and David and
Hmm.
Eva and all of them are clearly super tight, and maybe they ran the last vote really well, like that's who you got to be going for.
Yeah, for sure.
Like yeah, Cedric obviously is the guy who's out of the challenge in the first 10 seconds, and yeah,
That was what I was shocked
all
about.
the
Is that
beefcakes, of course they want him out. Like yeah,
Mhm.
let's but you would think also they would want him in because they could keep beating him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, it's tough. They must have just not been aligned, and I really do think that this crew, and I think just the way that they're building it, is like the story of the season is, and you saw it with Chrissy at Tribal, but like will, honor, and integrity, and not backstabbing. How far will that go? Because
Yeah.
we know in Survivor, it just doesn't happen all the way to the end. Even with like
Hmm.
Coach, when he got like those, was it like Brandon Hans and like a whole bunch of people to follow him, and it was like very culty. You still had a Sarah who was like, oh, this is weird. I'm gonna cut the head off eventually, and
Yeah.
she ends up winning it all. So yeah, I don't know. It just feels like it's got to happen. It is interesting to me that like Chrissy wants to protect Say over Mitch for a little bit there. It seems like she was like, yeah, Mitch does have a great story. Sure says a lot, but Mitch is going to
Hmm.
be harder to beat in the end. And I was like, oh man, I don't know how this is going to play out.
And he's good at the challenges too.
He is. He's good. And it does seem like no one has a
Yeah.
problem with Mitch. Yeah, it just seems like good guy. Even him, like talking about being mailman Mitch, at the beginning, like opening up, sharing, talking about his kids in PE class and how he's gonna have to run challenges and whatnot. He's maybe getting there for fan favorite, but he's clearly at the
Yeah.
bottom. They were just trying to show us that he's at the bottom here,
Yeah.
for some reason. Okay, so we get to tribal. This is our first tribal. This is with the Chrissy group. Say Chrissy, Eva, Joe, Mitch, and Star. Yeah, this is again where she kind of draws the line. She says honesty and loyalty will not win this game. And is she right? Like, and how far will it go? Will it be Kyle to be the one that breaks it up, or will it be David? Will it be Joe? It's
Yeah.
hard to say, but like also someone's lying at every tribal. I mean, they all lied to Cedric
Hmm.
to be like, hey, it's gonna be Shaheen.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and Chrissy, dude, Chrissy was loud, and I did see people like talking about this. Chrissy's like, dude, we can't just let the big guys keep picking off all the social players. Like she says something
Hmm.
along those lines, and I'm like, ooh, that could put a target on your back, but that's also that needs to be said. So I'm
Yeah.
glad Chrissy got some words in about that. Um, and then I guess anything else here, we get Mitch blocking a
No, I
vote.
think that was the biggest point I had was what Christy said about them. I don't think you say that at tribal council in front of everyone. I think that's something you
Yeah,
say to a small group of people back
yeah.
at camp. But we'll
Yeah.
see how it works out for her.
Yeah, dude, if I'm the big dogs there, if I'm Joe, if I'm Eva, I'm like, hey, let's remember what Chrissy just said there. Let's
Hmm.
target that next time. Yeah, Mitch uses a block of votes, say gets up to the voting booth and she says these bastards. It's a pretty great line. Um tough use of a block of vote. I guess
Yeah,
it almost feels like they I guess probably forced it out of Mitch, and Mitch was just like, you know
hmm,
what, I'll
that's what
play
it
it.
seemed like.
I'll play it if it seems like it'll help me. I don't know that I need to, but I just should.
Hmm.
And I don't hate the move. Of course, it's not super amazing. It was a sweep anyway. And yeah, Say goes home. Any words for Say? As Say is the first to leave, does not make the jury. Again, a very big pre-jury splash, though, for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. I mean, I think she's one of the pre-jury members from New Era that I for sure would want to see back. She'd probably be at the top of the list, I think.
Yeah,
I would love to see her again in some sort of capacity on Survivor.
yeah, and I'd be curious to see like how someone like that plays a second time around, having seen the
Hmm.
way they're portrayed, and now they
Yeah.
know how people feel about them, and how that could be different. And then second tribal. This tribal felt a lot about trust too, because I mean they did paint the picture that Shaheen was like kind of the target here for Cedric, and Shaheen's talking about like this is a big thing of trust here. It all comes down to these votes, and um, yeah, they're talking about short term versus long term. A vote you could trust. They're talking about
Hmm.
trust falls and whatnot, and you don't know until your head's cracked open if you should trust the people you're working with. Um, yeah, Shaheen talks about things could be smoke and mirrors, or it could just be mirrors. And ultimately, like Cedric seems to be fully bought in, so they all did a great job of acting. I just hope, like, I don't know, Cedric goes home here, and it does seem like we just got a lot of real players left. Maybe there's a few
Oh yeah.
that's like we don't really know, but Cedric and Say both gave us a whole bunch of great tribal councils. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. I didn't know that. Like, I didn't think really Cedric could go super far, especially as we saw like his weakness not only physically but mentally, and just I don't know, like what he did with having people not have a vote. He's great. If you don't have a vote and you're at tribal with Cedric, he'll get you, but that's about it.
Yeah, true.
And yeah, Cedric goes home with only one vote to Shaheen. Any words for Cedric? Your pick?
I mean, I feel like he did a great job for the cards he was dealt. Kind of just got secured a little bit, like by that 6-on-6 kind of thing.
Yeah,
Wasn't on the right side of the numbers. It happens. Hey, that's Survivor.
that's true.
Um, was responsible for a good amount of people going home though, like single
Yeah.
handedly. So good for him.
Yeah, yeah. I think he played a good game, and he's on the jury. Like I don't
Hmm.
think
Yeah.
I think maybe overperformed. Yeah, survived a lot of tribal councils, and yeah, the 6-6. If it was mixed up a different way, like if all the beefcakes were on the same tribe, that would have
Hmm.
been really interesting. But you know what? Next week is a new week for someone to go home, for things to
Yeah.
get shaken up. And I think Say out of there, Cedric out of there. We're down to 10. Mary's the last remaining member of that green tribe,
Yeah.
which is hilarious. Just an all time terrible tribe. Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't too crazy of an episode, but
Yeah.
yeah. Let's go to Survivor press conference. If you could ask Jeff or a castaway a question immediately following the episode, what would it be, Richie?
My question is for Jeff, and I would want to know if he prefers when just on any season, if they have a tight alliance and they kind of stick with it, even for a good amount of weeks, like 4 or 5 weeks, whatever, or if he likes when they just kind of turn on each other every single week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, because it might be a little more fun to navigate if they're turning on each other a lot. But I mean, yeah, I think they have to work harder to make it a more interesting show when it's a straightforward vote. Because they're like,
Yeah,
oh, we have to act like
for
someone
sure.
else is, a threat right now. We have to,
Hmm.
put that all together. My
I
question.
like
Oh,
personally
good.
when there's at least alliances to some degree, because
Yeah.
I feel like the past couple seasons we've or lately you get these voting blocks, and there you don't get super tight alliances at all, and I feel like it's not as enjoyable when somebody flips because they're not necessarily tied down to an alliance. But
Hmm.
when you have that alliance and they flip, it's like, oh, like, dang, this person made a big move.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, Jeff did say at the beginning of this season too that like this season's a lot about pairs. And
Hmm.
it won't necessarily be like groups. And so I don't know. I do Kyle and Camille is the one they keep teasing us with. And I do think
Yeah.
those two are super dangerous. Because it's got to be some pairs that even if Joe and Eva were like, let's go rogue, let's take out David, or let's do something like that's got to
Hmm.
happen somewhere. And if Joe suddenly pulls this, like, dude, I was BSing this whole time about integrity and honor, like that would be sick. Like that would be a great
Yeah.
turn for him, and help him go all the way. My question is for David, and it goes out to David during the challenge. Were you bluffing at all? That's what I wonder from David, because
Mm.
he is a stunt performer, which means he's an actor. I'm sure his grip and all that. I picture him like he works at Waterworld and Universal Studios, which is a fantastic stunt show. Um, but I just think he was wearing down Joe just by the confidence. And I'm like,
Hmm.
his hands had to have been hurting. He had to have been a little sore.
For sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, he had eaten a bit, but like, yeah, he had to have been hurting for a little bit. How much was he bluffing? That's what I would want to know.
Yeah.
And if he's like, no, I could have sat there for another 2 hours. I mean, maybe he would have. I don't know, but I had to know if he's bluffing. Because I feel like I love it in endurance challenges when they talk crap. I do think that's a good title for the episode, in a sense.
Yeah.
But like when they're just standing there and they just have to like talk to each other. That's why Christian from the White Lotus season 3, but also David versus Goliath. Him chatting while on that box thing forever
Hmm.
is one of my favorite scenes in Survivor history. All right, let's go to stock up and stock down. Who do you got? Stock up, stock up.
Stock up, I went with Kyle. I think
Yeah,
he continues to rise in my books. He's got a great hold on the game right now, it seems. He's
yeah,
not too big of a threat, but he's making the right moves and kind of almost staying behind the scenes a little bit, it seems.
yeah. I think I agree. I have Kyle right there as well. He is right there in the middle ground. Again, I think it's big that David beat him in the challenge and that he was right
Hmm.
there. But like, Kyle's not the number one physical threat, but he is a physical threat for sure.
Yeah.
And if he gets down to the last, final 5 immunity, final 4 immunity challenge, that could be his moment. But I have Kyle as well, especially, yeah, just kind of being right in the middle and having Camilla there, and that's still so low key. That's huge. So my stock is up with Kyle. Who's your stock down?
Stock down, I went with Chrissy. I think that
Yeah,
line she said in tribal council does
same.
not help her out in the long run.
Yeah,
I feel like right now she's getting the type of edit to where she could be a zero vote finalist. I could see her
well,
making it far,
yeah,
but just because people know they could beat her.
yeah. Yep, I agree. Stock's down there. I mean, it's up in that she knew, but I agree with what you said
Hmm.
earlier that like you can't say that at tribal necessarily.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna say it tribal, like you got to have more people that are gonna agree with you there. Now
Hmm.
it was just Mitch that was sitting there, um, with her because like yeah, Star is with Joe and Eva, and
Yeah.
that's with that group. But now you just have Mitch, and like Mitch could play this game as a free agent and be fine. So yeah, I also have Chrissy stock down. Um, yeah, I don't know, especially if they're just picking off people that aren't super strong.
For sure.
Yeah, Chrissy could go home next, but yeah, you're right. I could see Chrissy all the way to the end. All right, let's rename the episode. Um, this episode was called Survivor Smack Talk. Jeff says it during the challenge. Do you have a good rename title? Good new title for episode 7?
I went with something David said while he was up there. He says, I could do this all day. Thought
Mm,
that was a good nod to
yeah.
Captain America. And
Oh yeah, they did say The Rock versus Captain
yeah.
America was a good one.
Yeah. Hmm.
That was said. All right. You said I could do this all day.
Yep.
All right. So I had 2. Survivor with superheroes. I think Mitch says that like I'm playing Survivor with
Hmm.
superheroes.
Yeah.
Um, or I was gonna do them suckers because that's what Star says. When Star's like, I don't want them picking who wins my million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be
That
on the
was
jury.
awesome. I like her, bro. She's funny.
Yeah, dude, not getting enough confessionals, in my
For
opinion.
sure.
Like
We need more from her.
when it's a star heavy episode, it's a good episode. But I'm gonna go with Survivor with superheroes. I think that's an
Okay.
accurate for
Yeah.
this episode. Like the dominant guys did dominate. I do think there are going to be
Hmm.
challenges where being big or being strong. I mean, sometimes it's not great. So
Yeah,
we'll
for
see.
sure.
But yeah, this was a good like big dudes dominate. So Survivor superheroes, and I could do this all day. All right, let's talk about who goes home next week on episode 8. Who do you got?
Oh man, I kind of debated a while because I mean they show us some stuff from the next
They
scene, and
do.
it's kind of hard to get a feel because it looks like it's going a couple different ways. I think it's gonna be David. I think this is where
Damn,
they're gonna flip.
I did vote. I wrote down
Um,
David, but you can have it.
yeah, I just feel like this is the point in the season, like early on in the dream when they try to get out the biggest physical threat.
Yeah,
So unless that alliance does stay together, I could very easily see David going home.
yeah. And I'm like, dude, if it's not David, like if David wins, then I think I'd probably just throw. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Eva.
Ooh, okay.
I don't feel great about it. I
Wow.
do like the
Yeah.
David pick. I was thinking David, and then I saw the promo, and it's very David is crazy. But
Yeah.
Dave was throwing out Camilla's name, and Camilla looked
hmm
mad. And yeah, David looked like he was ready to start playing. But I don't know. Maybe it somehow gets back to Eva. I can't really picture it that way, but
With the idol too.
with the idol, yeah, maybe we get some
Bold.
craziness. I don't know. It's hard to say. But like David would just have to win immunity. If David wins immunity, I'm like, well, then what happens? Like I don't know
Yeah.
where those votes go. Like
It
do
could
they,
be an easy get Mitch out
it
too.
could be, it could be. All right, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna go star. I'm gonna go star.
Oh,
I'm gonna go
wow.
star.
Okay.
Yeah. Just talk myself out of it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go star. Final answer.
Okay.
Lock it in. But yeah, dude, a huge thing that happened for us this week is our two winners.
Yeah.
Our two winners. You picked or you pitched Cedric. I picked Say. But there are 10 castaways left. Let's each pick a winner, and let's set a wager.
Ooh.
But I don't know how to do it.
Uh,
Who do you want?
I'm gonna go with Kyle.
Oh, good. I'm going Camilla.
Oh, this is
So
perfect. I like this.
I do
Yeah.
too. I do too.
I mean, they're the two I think running the game right
Yes,
now.
I
So
I agree. I agree. That's I think one and I think that yeah. I don't know. I would guess if
I
there's
think
a
that this is
futures
a weird
board,
season.
they're right
hmm
there.
Oh yeah, this is a weird season too, where like I honestly would be happy with anybody winning except Chrissy. I think
Yeah,
just based off gameplay so far, I think everyone's playing pretty hard and
yeah,
everyone's made a decent amount of moves. So
yeah. I
I'm
think
interested to see where the rest of this goes.
I think Chrissy wins. I want to see Mitch pull it out though and like play a really great game
hmm
to the end.
Yeah.
But dude, I think they're very weary of like stories and storytelling and
Oh, for
whatnot.
sure.
And so that is what makes me nervous about Mitch. Because they just keep talking about that.
hmm
But
Yeah.
I like my Camilla pick. I'm gonna lock in Camilla. You're taking Kyle. I mean, we'll probably just do a shot bet. That's what we do every time.
Yeah.
Just keep that going. Even though you got to start taking shots, I just got to start picking right. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You got to get something right.
Yeah, dang. All right. Well, we'll be back for episode 8 of Survivor. Comment below who you think is going to win, who you think is going home in episode 8, and we'll report back. We'll see you. See you next time.
See you guys.